it on. Know you wish you had my leave. I cheat up the river with you dance. Tearing down the barrel of his gun. Yes, he shot me down. I died and someone brought me back to life, but never to my senses. Bounce on that shit, can dance. Bounce on that shit, can.
Hey y'all, my bad. I'm talking and I'm wondering why nobody can hear me. I'm sorry. Hi you guys. Welcome to my channel. Welcome new subscribers. We talk about everything over here. Reality stars, gossip, crime, anything. We talk about it, even other YouTubers. So we want to talk about Mary. So Mary is at BravoCon and she is there at the event. They asked Mary her thoughts and ideas on a docuseries on TLC, and she said that, it's a little disgusting. She said some words like she really was like, it's a little out there. And, it seemed like they've been trying to come at her for a while, but she like, child, whatever. Y'all know Mary don't give a damn, okay? Mary just don't care. Now, since all this docuseries is coming out and everything is popping off to where it is, Mary has been in the spotlight for 5 years. Now, what's crazy is since this docuseries, Mary's mom did an interview 3 years ago, and we're gonna watch and react to that. And Mary's cousin did an interview with Sherelle. 3 years ago. They both did an interview around the same time. And what's so crazy is now that this docuseries is coming out in a couple of months, y'all, people have been paying attention, and they kind of been going back into a loophole to see what's really going on. So we're going to do some reactions on it. We're going to be here for a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and start with her mom's interview, which is like a 47-minute interview she did with Up and Adam. Shout out to Up and Adam. You guys go check him out. And then we're going to go with Sherelle World, which is a little longer. And we're going to go to the deep dive. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the deep dive. And shout out to Sarah Wheeler. She has a YouTube channel. Then we're going to go to Up and Adam, and then we're going to go Sherelle. So yes, we're going to watch those and do some reactions. So let me share my screen. Child. And this was a year ago, y'all.
Welcome back to the Salt Bitch HQ, the Salt Bitch community. I know I say this every time, but I'm not kidding you. Today's video is so important. I went into so many rabbit holes while I was doing my research for this, because today we are discussing the one and the only Mary M. Cosby. Mary Martha Cosby, to be more specific. Today's deep dive is really going to be about her whole family, her insane church. It's going to be a lot of things. I do have to keep things YouTube friendly, so keep that in mind, but I will include all of my links and sources in the caption so you guys can go on your own deep dive rabbit holes. It's important to note that I don't think Mary is really her own person without her family and her church and Robert Sr. Today's deep dive is really going to be looking into all of her family, starting with Dr. Mama Rosemary Redmond Cosby, Mary's grandmother. She was the one who founded the church. We're gonna get into all of it. There's so much lore behind Dr. Mama. Don't even worry. I think we should start by just maybe explaining her family tree, which I do give credit to the Bravo genealogy blog that I found that does like genealogy breakdowns of different housewives. I've used it as a resource in several of my different deep dives, but it was really handy coming into the Mary Cosby one because there's just so much to approach. So at the top of like the food chain of the Cosby Redmond family situation is Rosemary Mama. This is Mary's grandmother. She's the one who, like I said, founded the church. So Mary had 3 daughters, Pamela, Deborah, and Rosalind. Rosalind is Mary's mother. Rosalind has a last name, Cazares, because she married Mark Cazares in 1985, and this is Mary's stepdad. If you notice that the Cosby family is intertwined with the Redmond Rosemary side of the family in multiple ways. This is so hard to explain. If you see in the middle is Robert Cosby Sr., and he is married to obviously Rosemary Redmond in 1975, and he has 2 brothers, Daryl and David. Daryl and David married Rosemary's daughters.
Oh wow.
One of them's now divorced, but like, so that means, listen, I'm not like a genealogist, so I don't even know what that means for their family and what kind of consequences and outcomes that has, but it is so confusing and profound. Like,
it seems like his family married into her family. And we're going to get into that with her mom and how she felt of the situation. So it's crazy, like his family married into her family. And it's kind of seeming like they married into the family for the church. That's what it seemed like to me. But let's continue.
Like if my mom married somebody and then I married his brother, that's wild. And then obviously after Rosemary passed away, Robert Sr. remarried to Mary, and they had a son, Robert Cosby Jr., and he is going to start a whole new lineage of God knows what. So this is just kind of an outline of what we're going to be getting into. There's a lot to break down, but I think it's important to kind of lay out who our key figures are and explain how everybody is related. We're going to actually start the deep dive with Mary's grandmother, Rosemary Redmond, because Mary's life is essentially just the extension of Rosemary's life. Rosemary built up and then willed off to Mary. She attended school and everything in Indianapolis. I know Mary has mentioned of having a few different ties to like the Indianapolis and the Indianapolis suburb area, specifically Carmel. That kind of explains why. From what I read, Dr. Rosemary Redmond, I'm just gonna call her Dr. Mama. Dr. Mama had a little bit of a baddie era during high school or something like that, and she was like not really religious religious for a while and eventually even dropped out of high school. At some point, she received the Holy Ghost in the mechanics laundry in Indianapolis. She immediately placed a membership with the Christ Temple Pentecostal Church. She also obviously had 3 children, and obviously these were not Robert Sr.'s kids. I believe she got pregnant around like the 50s at some point. Now it's a little unclear. In 1961, she announced that she was going to be leaving for Salt Lake City because she had kind of had this calling for Christ and started building up a following in Indianapolis, and announced that she was going to embark on this really ambitious journey out to the brisk, cold, mountainous area of Salt Lake City. It was really important too because like in 1961 there was really not like a Black community in Salt Lake City. So she said she's going to leave and go start her own church, and this was just like a calling from the Lord to specifically go to Salt Lake City.
So basically, Salt Lake City, Utah is mostly where people go. What I've seen and noticed, that is in the church and or with the church thing, and they mostly go there and start there. Now I don't. Now Salt Lake, Utah is really nothing but mountains and snow and things that people can do. I don't see how y'all can live like that in no snow, in no cold, but it seems like that's where it goes. We start with Pentecostal churches. You have mostly Mormons, Christian churches, things like that. So it's like a religious kind of hub, seem like thing.
Of all places. She wanted to go and infiltrate and like be a missionary in this town that basically only accepted white Mormons. She really wanted to build like a community of her own there. So Rosemary definitely lived like a public figure life. A lot of the information that I found about her was actually from like newspapers and like really credible sources. She loved being in the public eye and also sharing like her lore with everybody. So
now for people coming in, we're speaking on Mary Crosby, who married her step grandfather, and she's speaking on Mary's grandmother, who started this church and who said, hey Cancer 66, who said that she wanted her wish as a wish of speaking, not put into form, of marrying her step grandfather. Mary is on the real and Mary is on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and she has a docuseries coming out about her church. We're going to be looking at her mom interview and her cousin interview too as well.
It's been said that when Mama left for Indianapolis, she only had enough money for a bus fare to St. Louis, Missouri. I knew she had 3 young children that she was bringing with her, and this was Mary's mom, Rosalind, Pamela, and Deborah. Mama's mind was made up that after the money ran out, that she was going to walk the rest of the way from St. Louis to Salt Lake City with her 3 young children. Oh, and this was also in the middle of January. That's what the legend says. It said God laid it on friends' hearts to drive Mama to St. Louis, and she caught a bus to Kansas City, Missouri. Because Mama is the ever persuasive person. Like I said, I think Mama had already been building up a following in Indianapolis, and I read that a lot of people had actually followed her from Indianapolis to Salt Lake City. So just because they were like so moved by her and her preaching, it doesn't surprise me that she was able to convince somebody to drive her all the way to
I'm gonna let this play and I'm gonna get my snack and come right back, y'all.
to St. Louis instead of having to spend her only bus money on it. This whole story is hilarious to me. So she's in Kansas City, Missouri. So she started walking with her 4 young children, which I don't know where the 4th one came from all of a sudden. I did not see that anywhere in my research. The legend basically says that she got a few miles down the road to Junction, Kansas, when some women stopped her because they were worried about her walking with her children in the winter. This woman was kind enough to put them in a trailer, and she brought them food and supplies. And then the local Pentecostal church of Junction, Kansas basically heard about Dr. Mama and her journey, and they like fell in love with this story, and they wanted to put her in like an even nicer home. So I think this is really interesting because you can already see Mama, not that she's doing anything bad necessarily, but like she's kind of freeloading her whole way to Salt Lake City, and then she gets there and she's still just going to freeload off of her congregation. People just feel so inclined and so evoked, so moved by her that they feel the need put her in like the nicest home that they can. Basically, like people from all around heard of this magical woman on her walking journey that she wanted to go on. And they came from all over to go visit Dr. Mama and her family, and they would like shower her with gifts. It's literally like, what are those things? When those three guys came to Jesus and brought them like frankincense and myrrh. That's what Dr. Mama probably felt like. The church's website literally said that Mama lived very comfortably due to all the support that she received from others, like while she was living in other people's houses in Junction, Kansas. I guess people just kind of saw her as like a prophet, but it's so interesting because she had literally already created such a mass hysteria over her and over her lore, and she literally hadn't even done what she said she was going to do yet. She had taken a bus and someone drove her to Kansas, and she said she was going to walk. And then everyone's like, oh my God, Dr. Mama. But she hadn't done anything yet. So I don't understand. Like, she wasn't even running a church. It's just insane. Putting together the pieces, like, I just feel like that's when they realize that they can definitely support and maintain a very extravagant lifestyle if they continue to preach like this and like elicit these kinds of emotional responses from people. I have to be really careful with my wording here. And then finally, I guess she got bored of Junction, Kansas and decided that it was time for her to make the big move to Salt Lake City. And guess what? She did not walk. The church bought her and her family train tickets, so they got to take a comfortable train all the way from Kansas to Salt Lake.
That is a journey. That is a journey. In January in snow. That is a journey. So basically her Mary's grandmother already decided to say, I'm going to use this as a calling, which I'm going to watch my wording as well. And you know what? I'm going to see how far I can go and who's going to stop and help me to get to my destination. And that's what she did. I guess she decided to start her church in Utah, Salt Lake City. So let's see.
But I would have to say this is kind of a crazy PR stunt on Rosemary's part. Like, she created a mass buzz about her, and then she didn't even have to do it. People were more than willing to pay for a train ticket for her and her children. Not that she had to walk. I'm not saying she had to walk. Like, I'm not being like that. But what was all that for? So she gets to Salt Lake City, and she kind of starts to build her following. But it was definitely very difficult for her to infiltrate it as first. There really weren't many opportunities for Black people at this time. So she worked as a housekeeper and kind of started like building her brand in the area. She was hosting local church services from her home, and she eventually got ordained through the Pentecostal Church in 1964. The church website says that Mama overcame the odds and Satan himself and established the Faith Temple Pentecostal Church in 1968. Okay, before we get into the startings of her church, I want to talk about the Pentecostal religion like as a whole, so we have an understanding of what Dr. Mama has gotten herself into. Some of these Pentecostal churches follow these sanctified church practices. These are used specifically in like Black Pentecostal churches to distinguish them from like the mainstream Black Protestant denominations. They basically want to be seen as, I don't know if this is the right word, but like more extreme. Many of them.
Well, sort of. And another thing, Faith of Temple Pentecostal is what we saw a couple of days ago. It's supposed to be on the cult list. So I don't know, but it's like on a cult list. And there was a list of churches, and that church is one of them.
Don't even let their members like drink, gamble, do drugs, party, or even like listen to secular music. Just religious stuff. And I actually kind of feel specifically qualified to speak on this because my mom grew up Pentecostal. It wasn't like a Black Pentecostal church. It was extreme in the sense that she wasn't allowed to even cut her hair when she was growing up. She couldn't wear pants or shorts. She had to wear like long skirts to the ankles. Women couldn't play any sports. And then basically instead of going to like soccer practice or Girl Scouts after school, they would go to like church services every single day. as like an after school activity for several hours. And it's just interesting because Pentecostal churches in Louisiana kind of do the same thing as like the sanctified church thing, because they want to distinguish themselves from the New Orleans like swamp voodoo stuff, and they're scared of being associated with that. So that's why they think they kind of gravitate towards these more, I really don't know what we're using. I think it's extreme, but other people might not. Many of them preach that women should be submissive to the men that are in charge, and they follow this saying that there is power to submit, which I find to be really manipulative. So in sanctified churches, marriages aren't just about sex and like procreating and building a family. It's more about the status of you and your church. I did a lot of research and I actually found that arranged marriages in influential families in these Black Pentecostal churches are actually really, really common. And it's
Well, it's not just in Black Pentecostal. I want to debunk her there, but it's mostly Black Pentecostal, like in Pentecostal churches or certain churches there are arranged marriages. Just like with the I think it's Hindu, some of their marriages are arranged if they cannot, and which I've heard too, if they cannot find someone for their child to marry at that time, they have the right to marry someone else. So yeah, is yeah.
a way for these prominent families to ensure that their leadership is going to carry on. That's kind of all they've been taught to believe is important. So if your daughter marries an authoritative male figure in the church, then you're basically set. You can relax and you can rest assured knowing that your daughter is also going to have some power too. Also, although women are supposed to be submissive to men, women actually do have a significant amount of power. That makes sense. Pentecostal churches are also known for like speaking because at some point during her tenure, she met Robert Sr. He was 20 years younger than Mama was. She kind of robbed his cradle, and they ended up getting married in 1970.
Now I'm not sure, but maybe alleged. Someone said that they're 20, like 10. Now she just said he's 10 years, right? But somebody else said, well, he was 20 years younger, so we're not sure.
But I've also read that she got married in 1972, so I don't know. I've seen different dates. And just so you know, when Robert Sr. and Mary's grandmother got married, Mary was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
She was 3 years old whenever Robert Sr. came in. Actually, that's really gross. I just like, ugh, I hate this. I'm gonna try not to get demonetized on this video. That's the goal. Okay, so everything is great. Things are going well. She made Robert Sr. the bishop of the church. So in 1982, they officially purchased a large church and they were able to relocate their congregation to the building that it's in now. And then in 1985 is when she got her Doctorate of Divinity degree from Trinity Hall College. I should say I read a lot of different anecdotes from like primary sources on Rosemary's preaching. Almost everyone had great things to say about Rosemary specifically, especially when it came to like her preaching. They all said that they felt so moved by her and they had never felt any way from any other kind of preacher before except for from Rosemary. And so I think that is really interesting. You look at leaders of controversial mass organized religious organizations. I don't want to say the word. I'm trying to be careful here. You see that they all use the same tactics, which is like preying on people who are vulnerable, don't have families, don't have jobs, and really need guidance. And they are these overwhelming figures with so much control, so much power, pompous, and influence that they're able to take over that control that these people don't have or guidance that they don't have. They do it by like breaking them down, and they break them down through these emotional sermons where they're screaming at people. So you're there for hours, it's sweaty in the room, there's no air conditioning, the singing is so loud, they'll come up to you. I don't know, it's so interesting to see.
She traumatized.
I'm just gonna say that the church reportedly peaked in the 1990s. Apparently at least 500 people would show up every week to these sermons. And if you know anything about Pentecostal sermons, these are not your quick 1 hour, hour 15 in and out ordeal. This is a day-long situation. You bring your fan, bring your water, bring something to sit on, shit to do. I'd bring my AirPods. Then people also said that like under Rosemary's reign, if you were a member of the church, you were basically expected to attend a whole week-long schedule of church-related events, sermons, prayer hours, middies, etc., etc. At this time too, in like the 80s and 90s,
church every day. I mean, well, it could be the same as a Baptist church because let's be clear, you have church on Sunday, certain choir rehearsals during that week, whoever's supposed to sing on Sunday. Then you have Bible study on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Then you have something else. So it's, I mean, kind of the same. It's just not a church service every week. Now, church service every week was what the pastor anniversary or if they having something, right? Or vacation Bible school. So it's a little different.
Rosalind, Mary's mom, was the head of the choir in the church. Since Rosemary's church was doing super well and she had really built like quite the community, she decided that she was going to start building other businesses. So she started a private school, a salon called the TLC Salon, the Southern Plantation Restaurant, the United Financial Security Mortgage Company, which we will get to that one. That one's very interesting. TLC Daycare, and then some radio station that plays like Pentecostal music and like her sermons. It was like a multi-million-dollar portfolio of businesses, but these businesses were all employed her congregation, and it did a lot of good things for the community. But I do think that a lot of people were expected to work there for free or get good status in the church, and with Mama it was kind of seen as doing her a favor if you would go and
Okay, so it says when congregants were not at Faith Temple, those who do not have full-time jobs outside of the church did housework at Mama's home or at one of her various businesses. Rosebud says her mother, who worked at a local hospital, did free work in her spare time at Mama's ballroom, flower shop, or would go to Mama's house to clean. Abby says she was also made to work for free at Mama's restaurants. I don't remember getting any money at all. To be honest with you, she says, I was just grateful that she chose me.
clean the salon or clean up at the daycare and like do shit for Mama. I read that on a few different accounts. It did build this whole line of Black businesses in Salt Lake City that was essentially like not there before Mama. The Salt Lake City Tribune was another source that I used a lot when I was doing my research because they actually talked to Mama or reported on her a lot. And they have all of the archives that are still up. They reported that Mama lived a very extravagant lifestyle during this time. She went broke and then she never went back again. What is Lori Peterson's tagline? It's like, I've been broke and I've been rich. Being rich is better or something like that. That's what Mama said. The Tribune said that she was always dressed in like super expensive clothes and had a very flashy, prominent, visible house in Salt Lake City. But despite all of her success and the lifestyle that she lived, she definitely did have a lot of critics and received a lot of racism and aggression from other people of Salt Lake City. So she had to keep tight security on her property because there were constant threats of bombs apparently and vandalism. I found reports of people going back to 1993 where people were saying that they left the church because they were persuaded to give like so much money or even like their last $20.
Now here's the thing that's I'm gonna say for remember on the episode where they were discussing about Mary's church and how and a lot of people felt because of the history of Salt Lake City. This is in the 90s, y'all. So a man like had like they were still going through racial issues, as I'm trying to say. But remember on the show, it was Whitney and I forgot Whitney cousin. And they was like, yeah, your church is a cult. Mary, or was it wasn't Wendy. Oh my God, Whitney cousin. It was Whitney. Oh my God, what is her name? Lisa Barlow. And Lisa then was like, yeah, just say your church is a cult. You need to just say that. Just say that. She said, well, you feel like that, you need to come. Well, that's not what he said. So it was kind of like, what just happened? Baby, so now we're getting a full breakdown about how this church is looked at as a cult, but then on the other side, because it's a Black church, it's kind of like, I don't know, y'all. These two things can be true at once now. We're not going to lie, but let's continue.
To the congregation or to Mama. In the mid 80s, at some point, she was also sued for not paying her taxes, power bills, or fees for her condo. She was also behind on almost $10,000 in rent for her Southern Plantation restaurant. These lawsuits also accused her of failing to make payments on almost $100,000 for church-related expenses. But in the middle of the lawsuit, the person that was suing her died. and then the whole thing was dismissed. Anyways, so that's kind of Rosemary's life, because in 1997, Rosemary died in her vacation home in St. Cloud, Florida. She was 65 years old. So we're going to pause on the Rosemary stuff right now, and we're going to go back to Mary's childhood. Mary Martha Jefferson was born on October 21st, 1972, so she's now 51 years old. I honestly thought that she was older than that. She was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, obviously. I couldn't find much about like her early childhood, sadly. Apparently she had been married once to a man prior to Robert Sr. So she got married at like 19 or 20 to this man named Dana Harris, and it's interesting because a lot of gossip sites and stuff like that inaccurately say that Harris is Mary's maiden name, but that's not true. It's actually her last name from her first marriage. She got married and then divorced from this guy named Dana Harris. That's when basically her grandmother passed away. That was right around the same time. Before Rosemary died, legend says that she told 25-year-old Mary that she wants her to basically inherit her life, including marrying her husband, which was Mary's step-grandfather, Robert Sr. So it was rumored that after this whole idea came into play, I think Mary was still married to her ex-husband, and then Robert Sr. actually made Mary's.
So basically, it says most of my entire family was born into Faith Temple. What this article, and I am sure that Bravo will forget to mention, is that Mary had a husband before she married the bishop 1 year after her grandmother passed. His name is Donna Harris, and when Mary's mama died in 1997, Bishop would be preaching and telling all the women in the church that they better leave him alone and not try getting with him. That God already sent Mary Martha to comfort him in his time of mourning. Mary Martha was spending so much time at his house right after the rumors started spreading quick. He would be preaching this from the pulpit telling the church to quit gossiping.
Ex-husband stand in front of the whole congregation to say that he was going to leave her, so that way they didn't look like the bad people for when they were going to get together.
Now, I want you to keep in mind, we're going to recircle this into her cousin's interview. Now, the cousin did an interview 2 years prior when this came out a year ago. So I want y'all to understand how this is coming, y'all.
And they could like faithfully go on with their marriage. And then Robert Sr. kicked Dana out of the church. Then apparently the first husband, 4 months after Dr. Mama died, Robert Sr. went to Mary's mom, Rosalind, and was basically like, look, I'm gonna marry your daughter. Can you imagine going to your stepdaughter and telling him you're gonna marry your daughter? Like, what the hell? No wonder Mary's mom is not okay with this. And obviously they were like not okay with this, but Robert Sr. was very manipulative about it. They proceeded to get married 1 year after Rosemary passed away. So this was September 27th of 1998 in Chicago, Illinois. Her marriage to Robert Sr. and basically her taking over Dr. Mama's life is basically what led to the split of the church. The whole thing is so crazy. Willing your life down to your granddaughter, but to Mary's mom, she didn't understand why the inheritance was going to skip a generation. Like, she didn't understand why it was bypassing her and going straight to her daughter. But it's like, what? Did she want to marry her stepdad? What is happening in this family? It's insane. And it's also just wild because we'll talk about it, but it was reported that Rosemary's death was really unexpected. Like, she was in great health. She was 65, which is not old. She died from heart failure, which can happen, but usually you would be like unhealthy or have signs of that. And it also just doesn't make sense why her grandmother died. So Mary was 25. Okay. Thank you very much, Mary.
Now she's gonna go. I fast forward a bit where she's debunking some of the things that Mary did say on TV, and the facts wasn't right. But we're gonna go into the interview. So I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then we're gonna go into the mom's interview, y'all, because y'all gonna hear it from her. And hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing. No, I'm not sharing my screen. Give me one moment.
about it, but they basically like ran off to Chicago and just like got married unexpectedly. Like I said, Robert Sr. sat down Rosalind, Mary's mom, and was like, I'm doing this. And she was like, no, don't do it. And then he went on and did it. And then they had that whole legal battle. She was feeling so uncertain about it and probably really isolated. Like, sure, you get like this multi-million-dollar estate and all of these businesses that you don't know how to run, and a lot of Chanel that looks fake but isn't, I guess.
And then on top of that, some of the businesses are not anymore. So yeah.
But like you don't have any family and you have to fuck your step grandfather. That sucks. So she was feeling very lonely, and she said that she just had to pray about it for basically like 2 years. She said that right after her marriage, she pretended to be on her period for like several months after the wedding so that she didn't have to fuck him. Just crazy. But yeah, it took her like a long time to reckon with her own life. And to be fair, she never really had her own life, as we learned. I couldn't find a single damn thing about her early life, or I don't think she went to any college. She was like created to just carry on Rosemary's life and like pick up where she left off. And now she kind of describes her marriage as like a partnership with many blessings. They don't really seem to be like a romantically engaged couple. They just kind of.
I feel the same way. Mary, wow. I see what this documentary is going to entail. I think what's disgusting is the people speaking on it and how they're doing it. But I think with Mary, it's like Mary's like telling you, y'all, like, listen. I don't know. It makes me just want to say, Mary. Like, that's where I'm at with it with her. Like, oh, Mary.
Like live together and somewhat co-parent, but I don't even think they parent Robert Jr. Like, we'll get into Robert Jr. There's a whole Robert Jr. section at the end of the video, so do not worry. Their relationship is just strange. It's what you would expect to be of a woman who's married her step grandfather, but it's sad. It is really sad. I'm not gonna lie. Let's talk more about her life nowadays, her on the show. We're not gonna talk about like her plot points on the show. I don't really like to do that in these deep dives, but I do want to touch on her controversial moments and anything else. Like, we know Mary for being this almost like she seems like a little porcelain doll, that's like behind on her medications. She lives on this like 20,000 square.
I won't say she's behind on her medications, but I will say Mary is witty, catch on, smart, and shady. She's a little shady, like, yeah. Like she Mary. I'm gonna tell y'all this. Mary ain't dumb. And what they try to make Mary look weak. Mary ain't weak. Just pay attention to Mary. I'm gonna tell you why. Mary catch on. Mary know what's up. Mary will be quick to snap and go off on you in a heartbeat. In a New York minute.
Foot Dr. Seuss house. They have 4 houses, like I mentioned: Vegas, Carmel, Indiana, Orlando, and then obviously Salt Lake City. She wears these very interesting Chanel and Dior and Coach pieces that are like so gauche and gaudy. They look fake, but I don't think they are. That's equally concerning to me. She has just like a very extravagant
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
I'm gonna fast forward.
I didn't hear more about it. I'm kind of assuming that he was with his girlfriend, because police said that he was with an unnamed 21-year-old female.
Okay, we're gonna move on, y'all. I don't wanna go. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna just tell you what happened because I don't want to talk too much into it because I don't know if it's still ongoing and stuff. But we all know that Mary's son battled some things, and Mary is just. I feel like Mary, now that this situation is coming out, and her son is married, and he's going through some things with, in trouble and stuff. We'll talk about that later. But I'm gonna come back and circle back to her son last. But Mary, to me, I feel like she beats herself up sometimes because it seems like, as on a mother standpoint, there were things, she gave him things. He has a great life, but I think she just feels like something's missing in here, like, because of what she has going on, her partnership marriage. And I hate that because you could tell when he talks about it on the show, it's like she's beats herself up a lot. And I noticed that. But we're gonna circle back to that about what he has going on. I'm gonna go back to her video at the end, but I do, like I said, it's gonna be a long live, but I do want to get into the interviews. So let's go here. So shout out to Adam and Up and Adam, sorry, and he does an interview. We're going to watch this interview with Mary Crosby, mother, and her family, and then we're going to go to Sherelle, which is a longer interview, but I'm gonna cut it down a little.
You'll feel relieved and better than fine.
Yes.
Better than fine. And Mark, how are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Doing great. All right. Well, I just want to say to both of you, I know that this isn't going to be the easiest conversation, and there's a lot that we have to cover. I'm so thankful that both of you were able to sit down, and for your time. It means everything. So thank you so much. And
she looked like her mom, like a younger version of her mom.
Obviously, we're back to talk about some hard-hitting topics, and it kind of surrounds the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, we're on Bravo. Your daughter's on the show. Have you seen the show?
Yes, some of it.
You have? How do you feel about the show?
She's talented to me. She's great.
Yeah? You like Mary on the show?
I love her.
She's great TV.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Cohen, he's known as the father of Bravo. He says the same thing, that she's great TV.
He is too. I love Andy.
And Mark, have you seen the show?
I maybe half an hour or so. I don't watch much TV. I'm kind of working a lot, and I do some other stuff, a little bit of golf and fishing. So, but I have seen bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Not a reality TV guy, but that's all right. So I wanted to kind of kick this off with introducing both of you. Obviously, we know that you are Mary's mom, and Mark, you are an extension, the stepfather.
Right.
Cazares.
Mark Cazares, Rosie Cazares. Right. Mark, how long have you been Mary's stepfather?
Rosie and I got married in January of 1985. So Mary
almost 37 years. Wow. January 20th.
January 20th will be 37 years.
So it's safe to say you've been in Mary's life for most of her life.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. From the very beginning.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Would you consider yourself like a father?
Sure.
To Mary?
I would. Mary is what the beautiful thing about the Mama and Rosie and their family is that it is in fact, but when Mama was here, it was kind of like a village raising a child. So Mary, she lived with us till she was in high school, and then she went to live with Mama for a while, and she was going to private school, kind of back and forth. So yeah, I was. I've actually been in part of the church and part of their family most of my life. So, but yeah, I would be her. I've been in and around their whole family since I was a young man.
Wow. And by the way, I don't even feel like we can't move on without acknowledging.
So I wonder how old her stepfather is. And her stepfather is not happy that she is married to her step-grandfather. He is not happy.
This beautiful photo of your mom. When I walked in here, I know that Mark, you greeted me at the door, but as soon as I saw her, I was like, what an infectious smile. Yeah, she is absolutely beautiful.
She was the mentor for our Rosie, their whole family. My family, who came and joined the church in 1972, a mentor for my whole family. And she was a mentor for literally hundreds, if not thousands of families and people that came in contact with her and the church, and even outside the church. So she was quite an amazing, just absolutely amazing person.
She made an impact.
Oh, unbelievable.
I can even tell by just, oh, Rosie, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I think, honestly, how special is that? Especially she's touched so many people, and we've now been introduced to Mama on the show, on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So even though there are those negative moments sometimes that we get, we would have never at least someone like me who lives in Florida or California, maybe I wouldn't have been introduced to Mama and known how special of a woman she is. So out of everything, with the good and the bad, at least we can take that away as a positive from the show.
You know, Adam, I feel the same way. If I can say, regardless of the conversation and the questions you're going to ask us and what we come out with today, the most important thing for Rosie and myself is that Mama gets to be seen in the light of who she actually is.
Right.
And anything that didn't represent God, anything that didn't represent honesty, anything that didn't represent good things and keeping families together and promoting family health and strength and
Now I'm gonna tell you, he taking a little dig at Mary's husband. I hear it, but we're gonna get into that because right now, shout out to Up and Adam. He's doing great by leading us into where they're going with this. And did you hear what he just said? She didn't rip away family. She didn't tell people this and that. Hello. Okay.
business and great and good things, Mama would not have been for it.
Right.
So no matter what is said or what's done here, she is everything good. I can tell you that. Absolutely. She was everything good. And she would do everything she could to keep marriages together, families together, help with businesses. She did quite a few things. So,
well, we're definitely going to dive into some of this. You know, I think probably one of my first questions, and I know this might be a little bit more difficult, but on the show, Mary says that she hasn't spoken with her mom, Rosie, in over 20 years. And that's because the family was upset and jealous because Mama chose Mary as the chosen one to take over the church and marry Robert Crosby Sr.
That's not true.
not true.
And, you know, Rosie, even you and I had this conversation over the phone before I came here, and it's kind of, reality television is kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, it has the good with the bad, and people are going to love you or they're going to love to hate you. Right. Regardless, I don't know if anyone can brace themselves for going into reality television. And if it's normal to you, sometimes maybe you're questionable because it's not a normal thing to have 4 or 5 cameras in your face and cutting up and acting out. You know, it's a different platform, but it was announced. Andy did confirm that Mary is no longer going to be a part of the show. She was able to, so how this works is production releases the last few.
Okay, so let me explain. This Mary came back on the show. This was doing after the first season, and Mary wasn't there for the second season. So I think she's been on TV for like 4 or 5 years, and she was getting ready to go back into the show. After this interview, Mary did decide to go back to Real Housewives. Salt Lake City, not Potomac, my bad.
Few episodes before they go to tape the reunion. And this season, Mary had an interesting one. There were remarks that came out that were deemed as culturally inappropriate. Of course, everyone is still talking about Robert Crosby Sr. There are cult allegations and even extramarital affairs. So there are so many allegations that are coming out right now. And some would even say that maybe Mary knew she was going to be asked about this at the reunion. And she was like, I'm done. I don't want any part of it.
If I can say, Mary here, when this whole thing went down and she made the comment that Mama wanted her to marry Robert and she was giving her the church and everything, Roger, that's not true. That's not even near any close to the truth. But because she was in her early 20s and mid 20s and being manipulated by Robert Crosby and his business manager of Mama's mortgage company.
But Mama had just married her and Dana.
That's what I was just going to say, Rosie. And Rosie was just about to.
She was younger than
Mama. If Mama meant for Mary to marry Robert, why would she then, with Robert, marry her to her husband, then Dana, 3 years before she passed? I mean, she didn't know she was going to pass, obviously. So you need to understand too, marriage in the Pentecostal church, in our church, is lifetime. So, you know, saving for the cause of fornication or adultery or illegal acts, you don't get divorced in the Mormon, in the Pentecostal church. And I think as well as like in the LDS church in Utah here. So marriage is not something that you take lightly. you know, and I think even in society now, you don't get married. It's not a light thing. So for Mama to marry to Dana, her husband, who she was married to.
She was 17
when Mama
she got
passed.
married.
I think she's a little older than that, but anyway.
And Mama didn't pass. She suddenly died.
Yeah.
Well,
Mama,
everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, well, Mama died suddenly like that, truthfully. But Mama was not going to marry her to Dana and then expect for her to get a divorce and marry Robert or Bob.
Okay.
That's not true.
Well, you know, there was a...
But Mary believed that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Mary believed that because she was manipulated by Robert and the business manager and other older people around to maintain the structure of the church and the finances. And be honest with you, it came down to probably dollars and cents.
So you think that Mary most likely got married to Robert Crosby because it came with the wealth?
No, they broke them up.
No, she
broke her and Dana.
I think her intentions, she never.
Bob did.
It's obvious. She said,
and Lois.
I did see the clip on the show. She never wanted to marry him.
No.
Right. She said on the show, actually, when she was caught in a scene with one of her cast members, Heather, she said, I did marry him. I didn't want to, Heather. I didn't want to. That's weird to me. But my grandmother really did want me to. So I obeyed her. I trusted every word.
Wow. Mary, girl. Okay. I don't know what she don't want to come out. I don't even think it's about the church at this point. I think it's about saving Mary. But Mary is a very grown woman. Very grown, okay?
Believe
she wasn't even here.
Robert told her, Bob told her that's what Mama said.
Right.
Mary never talked to him. I guarantee you, if somebody has a conversation with Mary and said, did you sit with Mama and she told you that she wanted you to marry Robert, because she would have to tell you to divorce Dana first.
Right.
First, you'd have to divorce Dana because you were married to Dana.
And it's fair to say,
a beautiful wedding.
As Mama being the head of the church and marrying Mary to Dana, knowing that marriage is for a lifetime,
that's right,
that she would not have set Mary up to get a divorce.
She would have never done that.
She wouldn't have give it.
If she wanted Mary to,
that was Mama's husband.
Yeah, if she wanted Mary to marry Robert, why wouldn't she not just keep her single?
Right.
Because her sister was single.
Yeah.
Mary's sister is single, and she may still be single. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Denise.
When the last time? Yes. Now, hold on now. Hold on. Now we get to the... Okay, so now this is where I'm kind of like, why y'all don't... How old is the sister, number one? And nobody talks to each other? Now, this is concerning. When the last time the mama talked to the children? No offense against the mama. When the last time the mama talked to the children? Mary hasn't talked to her mother in 20 years. Okay. And that's concerning in itself. So when the last time the sister talked to Mary and the mother? So that lets me know that the sister probably wanted to live her own life, and she did not want to be into the Pentecostal church that they had. And it seems like if she's still single, she was willing to live her own life without any rules and anything else. And that's what she wanted.
My daughter.
Her sister is still single.
You know, there was something when we were talking before we came on here, we spoke about the fact that Robert Crosby, after Mama passed, that he tried to pursue you as well. He wanted to have Mark out of the picture.
And one more thing, Mary's sister will be on the documentary. So we'll probably get those answers come January, because I believe she is, I forgot, she does something. She has a degree and everything. So that let me know that she wanted to live her own life and have her own standards than what her grandmother and her family had.
Sure. And
Mark, yes,
be in a relationship with Rosie.
He told my mother this when she was here, and she was helping an elderly lady, Sister Fern, and he was over helping her, and he told Mama, and I ran to see Mama because I was over there when they got there, and he came running. He's so ugly.
Oh,
He's coming running down
Inside and out.
around the bushes. Said, "Mama," no, he called her Taters. Taters, Rosie likes me. That's what he said.
wow.
That's
He's
very-
crazy.
He thinks, let me just tell you, I want Rosie to finish her story. This individual's in love with himself. He thinks every woman wants him, but he's so mistaken.
Mm.
Is it? I'm trying to connect this. Is it just this is who he is?
Who
Is
he
it
is.
what comes with it? Is it because
Right. That's
you know
what I'm
when
saying.
I had a conversation with you before this, we were talking about how Mama married Robert,
Mhm.
brought him into the church,
Mhm.
Right.
showed him all of her ways, you know, showed
to
him,
teach him.
tried to teach him,
Right.
and then made him an even better
A
person,
bishop.
Try to.
a bishop.
That's right.
Tried to. So, do you think with having his life elevated by Mama,
Mhm.
by having all of the material things that come with it, having the church, having the title of being the bishop, did that fuel the ego?
I think it did. And here, let me just say this, Adam, if I can.
He was nothing.
Oh
Yeah,
my!
Rosie took over
Why?
that
Why?
amount.
Oh,
He was.
I do
He
want
had
to
nothing.
now.
He was nothing before he married Mom.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't want to judge people by saying that they're just horrible. They were horrible people before. They're always going to be horrible or what have you. What I will say is Mama did a great job in working on him and teaching him and making him into a bishop before she left. However, without her guidance and without her
Before she
continual,
left, Mark, she did
before
not
she
like
passed,
him.
I mean, they had issues. I mean, all
Cut.
marriages have issues, but he was at least a decent person and, you know, reasonable before she left. But after she left, yeah, I think it fueled the ego, all right. I think
Well,
he just
Mama
went nuts.
talked to me and she said, "Rosie, keep your house coat on because he's a freak." She
Huh?
did not like him.
She used that word.
That
Oh, wow.
word.
Okay.
She said he's a freak.
Hold the hell up now. Wait a minute. Hey, Justin. Wait a minute. Stop the press. What? Wow. Not right now, Justin. Not right now. Next time I'll let you come up.
It's
So he had
He's the-
issues.
This was
sex addict. He is.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah.
Why is
so.
she
This was
talking about-
closer to the time before, right before Mama passed.
That day when he told me,
Before, yeah.
the day he said, told Mama, "Rosie likes me. Why do I have to like him?"
Yeah.
Right.
And I was married
Am
to-
I mean, I know I'm not the best looking
was
and
I
I'm
married
maybe
to
shorter,
you?
but
No,
I mean, I don't think my wife would have to want her stepfather over me.
never.
I don't think I'm an ugly guy, and I think I do okay. And I treat my wife with respect and love. I've always loved her, regardless of
You're welcome,
our marital
Justin.
problems or any problems we've had. With separation or whatever. Even if Rosie would have divorced me, I would still support her and love her because of Mama and who she is. But I don't think my wife would need to want her stepfather
No,
Right.
Oh,
over me.
wow.
I never would hurt my mother.
But because
like
he
that.
thinks so much of
Never.
himself and is in love with himself, probably more than anybody else is, he probably thinks that. But I can tell you this: there was a plan, and you can kind of, without being said, there was a plan when Mama left, when she passed suddenly, to make sure that I was removed for whatever reason.
How
Yeah,
did
I know
she
what I
pass?
felt.
live stream, you can come up.
She passed. How did she pass?
Very suddenly. Very suddenly.
Thank-
I'll say this: I know what I felt, and I know some of the rumors that I heard from other family members. And the question was asked: how do we get rid of Mark?
Mhm.
And
Mm.
they said it out loud. It's not something it's not hearsay or something that I'm pretending that I heard.
Because Mama
It was-
loved Mark.
Because I can tell you why. Because Mary was not Bob Cosby's first choice. He wanted Rosie because Rosie was already close to Mama. She was the national choir director. We were already doing tremendous, great things with the choir. We've sung. We were the choir that passed the torch for the
I'll make you a
2002
mod,
Winter
Justin.
Olympics. We've sang with Michael Bolton, Celine Dion, Reba
Wow.
McEntire, Lyle Lovett. We sang for Maya Angelou. We've sang for some of the most prominent people on this planet
Wow.
with Rosie in the choir. So Rosie represented power structure for the church. So if he gets Rosie,
I have questions. So he's saying that Ross was the first choice. He's also saying that the family tried to get Ross away from Mark. Now my question is, why were they trying to get her away if it wasn't for him? That's interesting.
Ozzy, who's going to question him or anything else. It's a power struggle. It's manipulation. It's
I wonder
about
if they
money.
talk about that on the series
Yeah.
documentary.
So Mary was the young, beautiful
child.
20-something
So pretty
that got
child.
caught up. She's a victim. Now she's
Still
a
pretty.
grown woman. She's a grown woman with a son. That's her concern now. And I don't know how she can make it any plainer. She does not want to be married to her step grandfather. Never did want to be married to him. And all the lies that he told of Mama wanted you to marry me. That's how he convinced her. He convinced her with Mama wanted you to marry me. By the way, here's a couple $100,000 and it's your birthday. Here's a brand new BMW to go with it.
Wow.
So let me ask you, when you found out that this was even a topic of conversation, when you found out that Mary was marrying, at the time, your stepfather,
Right.
Yeah.
when you found out that she was going to marry him, how did you react?
April
I did not
26,
like it.
1998. It's
I
up in the
left
news.
the church.
We left. Walked out.
It was a month after she died.
Wow.
He
He ain't
married
even-
my daughter.
Wow.
And he
Came up with that. Right.
he kept her in his house, in my mother's house.
Away
And
from
she
her
kept
husband.
running away from me.
And she kept running away. And he kept going to get her and kept
It'll
her
probably be
away
this
from her husband.
evening. I'm
In
not
order
sure
to
what time
separate
yet.
them to ultimately marry Mary.
And legally, that would be called alienation of affection in legal terms. So he alienated, him being a bishop, alienated her husband,
Kidnapped
her from her husband, took her to the house up here in Utah, took her to Florida, took her to Indiana, and kept her away from her husband so he could do one thing, brainwash.
Okay.
He kept brainwashing her.
So when you found out, you left the church.
We walked out, me and Mark,
Yeah, we
and the
walked out.
church
And a whole
followed.
bunch of people left with
400
us.
followed.
She sued
I'll
Robert
speak. Because I
for
know you
transferring
probably can.
properties from Mama's possession and transferring them into the church corporation for one reason only:
I wish I had
to
my papers.
control the properties and to keep them away from
They
paying
in
the
the
children
storage.
any inheritance.
Because technically, had they have not been put under the church, under the business,
It
then
would have been sold
they would have been sold and that money would have been divvied
distributed
up
to the
between you
heirs.
and your family,
That's
your
right.
brothers and sisters.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
But my mother gave me her church before she left,
Mm-hmm.
and the courts rewarded me.
So
The church.
how is Robert still the bishop?
He's not.
So that I've heard that too. And then I heard that she is that Mary doesn't preach like that, but they're still over the church, and it's weird. I don't know.
Well, through his attorneys and through
But I'm not gonna lie, I really thank you, Justin, but I really feel like Mary, for some reason, y'all, is keeping her grandmother's church. And I feel like she's in it for that because she don't want whatever it is, it's something. And she don't want it to, I don't know, y'all. That's all I can say.
technicalities and
So
the
his attorneys
legalities of
dropped
all
him.
kinds of, to be honest with you, some of it, of course, we don't understand. We're not lawyers.
Right.
But from what our attorneys have told us and what we've looked into is, so when they were found guilty of fraud
Sister Gwen, you go
and
get my
conversion,
phone.
when they were found guilty of fraud and conversion, they posted a $1.2 million bond
Oh!
to keep them from going to court and to keep them from being arrested. The reason why they did that is because if they posted the bond, there's no damage.
Mm.
So another allegation that came out against Mary had to do with the church. And I don't know if you're familiar with a man named Cameron. I don't want to say his last name on
I
here.
don't
just
know
be-
him, but I don't know what's it all about.
So there's a man named Cameron who appeared on the show, and he explained that at one point, he said that Mary's dangerous, And 2, he said that Mary and Robert Crosby Sr. are dangerous. The second allegation was that they had him take out $300,000, a mortgage on his house, to give back to the church.
Wow.
Then this sparked up more allegations, more members of the congregation coming forward. Even Dan Cosby, who's a relative, I've spoken with him. I've done an interview with him. Great guy. But what the accusations are is that Mary and Robert Cosby, when they get low on money, that they go to different members of the church and they use your mama, her former mortgage
That's
company,
Lois. Lois is the only one
Yeah,
that
right.
does it.
to take out mortgages, second mortgages,
Mary
and
didn't
give
do
it back to Mary
Mm.
and the church in order to benefit.
I don't know.
Mary.
I think I can speak for Roger and I. First of all, we've been gone from there. We left April 26, 1998.
Okay.
We haven't been back since.
Okay.
So what they've
But
been
that's
doing,
not Mary.
what they've been doing since then. But
Lois is in that. They work together,
So-
Bob and Lois.
if
So-
Mary's doing that, or if Mary had any part of that, like I said, I'll say it again, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, I should have, but Mary has been manipulated from the beginning by Robert Cosby and by Lois Johnson.
Mhm. She
And-
gave
So you
her
think
money.
Mary is a victim in all of this?
She's a victim.
She is a victim. She is
Yes,
a victim.
she is.
Definitely a victim. But now she's at the age where, I mean, she has
I
a
don't-
full
I
grown
don't
son
care-
now. If I would say anything and Mary doesn't, we haven't spoken, and she wouldn't listen to me anyways. But it's okay. I'll say it anyways. But if Mary would want to be successful in life at any level, doing anything else, the best thing she could do would be get as far away from there and that man as possible.
That's why I'm glad she's with Housewives and with
And-
Andy.
Honestly, for her to get on the show,
I'm
to
glad.
me, I was like Rosie. I'm like, first I didn't understand it, but to me it looks like she's trying to get out of the marriage and that relationship
By putting a spotlight on
by
it.
putting the information out
Yeah.
in front of the world.
She's smart.
I did this because I believe
Very
this is what
smart.
my grandmother wanted, and that's the only reason I did it. And I believe her,
She
but
lied
it's not
right
true.
there.
But she was lied to and
Mm.
manipulated because that is not true.
Mhm.
Mama did not want her to marry Robert Cosby or do that.
Oh, no.
And they set that whole thing up to keep control of the properties, the money, the church, the mortgage company, because Lois Johnson made a comment that if Rosie got into power, or basically we got into power, she thought that she would be removed or fired or something.
Lois.
Lois
She
Johnson.
would have been removed.
She would have
I took her to court.
let's put it like this. Her place or her position in the church and or what she did as far as the church business was
That's
concerned
good.
would have been redefined had we took over the church. And let me just say as well, Mary saying that Rosie not only wanted Robert,
Great.
but wanted the church.
Oh, Lord.
Rosie didn't have to want the church. She was already one of the founding members.
Mama
It's
chose
already her
me.
church.
Oh,
Out of the
wow.
4 children, that's
You were the chosen one, not Mary.
Not Mary.
no.
Wow.
Rosie was already over the church. She's a founder. That's why when we
walked
left,
the highway
that's why when we left, we
With
set up
Mama.
our own church.
to Salt
You
Lake.
took 400 members of the church with you.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how many, but it was
It
quite
was
a few.
400.
Quite
That's
a few,
right.
yeah.
Okay,
But they
so
cut up,
And then
Sorry,
people,
y'all.
churches. I mean,
they went.
people come and go.
people come and go. It's the
Yeah,
nature
they
of,
come
of
and go.
salvation or religion. People come and go. People have problems. A lot of the people I do business with here and that are good friends of mine are LDS, and it's the same thing. People come, they go, they have their differences, they have whatever.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sister Gwen's one followed us, and why don't you come and talk?
Our people, we and here's the thing I'd like to say too, Adam.
Stand
Rosie
up.
and I appreciate everybody that's supported us.
Mary act just like her mom. She act like her mom. She say, "Come and talk." She say, "Oh, I'm gonna stand right here." She say, "Come on." That's like Mary.
and not only left with us, but even if they didn't stay, that supported us in trying to help keep Mama's legacy up and in front of the people, because that's what it's always been about for us. Mama was a great, great woman, a very great mentor that helped so many people. And let me just tell you right now, she's nothing like Robert Cosby. And the way they ran that church or that organization over there, they're saying it's a cult. Under Robert, it probably is.
So that
under Bob, it is.
That is another question I have for you. There are cult allegations that Mary. So
they
on the show,
blaming everything on Mary.
Yeah, they're blaming on Mary.
Well, of course, because Mary's the housewife.
That's
So
right.
no matter what, Mary's the
Oh,
bad guy.
okay.
Right.
Everything falls on Mary. When
Yeah.
in all actuality,
It's Bob,
well, allegedly, right? But
she signed up for it. Right?
everyone watching the show, they're going to immediately say Mary first before Robert Cosby
She
because
did
she's the
something.
housewife.
You know, all them
Right.
floats she had up, those were my floats. And she took a lot of the people, all the choirs I put together, she took them. Mary.
Do you think the way the church was ran when you were a part of that specific church, Mama's church, and the way it is now, do you think it's
Night and
completely
day.
different?
Completely
Oh,
different.
yes.
Completely different.
That's a mess.
We went to my uncle by marriage that died over there, and me and my adopted brother were going to go to the funeral. And one of my friends, who is a Sandy police, called me and said, "Hey, bro, I know you're coming to your uncle's funeral." He said, "Don't come. He was doing security work over there for them. We have orders to arrest you if you step on the premises."
Wow.
To go to a funeral.
That's Bob.
How do you? Yeah, that's how Bob
You
operates.
don't
How
got
do you
a
lock
church now.
the doors on people that want to come pay their respects to people that have died? But they have a list of people. Rosie and I are number 1 and 2 on the list. That if we show up, the police are to be called and be arrested. If that's not a cult, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We haven't done anything. What are we going to do? Go over there? We're going over to see a family member that passed to pay our last respects and walk out. Really? That would be a cult. That would be called manipulation and control. And let me tell you something about those type of people. They're full of fear.
Okay.
Well, I'm
That
the
people will
general
find out.
personal
So-
representative of my mother's estate now. I won it. Dr. Rosemary Redmond Cosby. And they said duly qualified. The courts chose me and Mama chose me.
That's right.
So
wow.
do you, Rosie, I want to get your input on this too.
Mm-hmm.
Mark obviously feels like it's been night and day, and you said, yes, the churches ran different.
Yeah,
Just so we can put these cult allegations to bed,
thank you.
do you think that it is possible Robert Cosby, with Mary being married to him, that they could be running this church like a cult? Because on the show, the members leaving the church, and even some of your family members who have done interviews on YouTube with different bloggers.
She says she's a cult.
Well, she's being accused of running a cult.
Mary's not a cult, but it's a cult. That church with Robert Cosby, he's doing it.
If she's not, let's put it like this. I know Rosie feels the same way I do. Let's put it like this. If those are the allegations and the people, not only family and other people are leaving, if she doesn't agree with it and it isn't like that, she better remove herself very quickly. Because under Bob Cosby, it is a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if she's married to him, and it is what it is.
One of my biggest questions in watching the show, I think one of the questions that all the fans have is, you see Mary navigating this relationship with Robert Cosby. The first season, there were some cringeworthy moments where she would talk about her relationship and how she didn't want to, get physical with him at times, and she was disgusted by him.
He's
and
dangerous.
And she went on and on about this, and now we're hearing that she has allegedly cheated on him with one of the members who was from the congregation. His name is Cameron. Did you say that's good?
She needs to get away.
She should have just went ahead and left. Forget it.
So do you think, Mark, have you heard anything about this, about these Cameron rumors?
I heard it, but I don't understand what they talking about.
I have, and let me just say,
But I
Adam,
wish she had ran away.
So that was allegedly that one of the guys that was cool with her, and someone in the church did say that she did do that. And remember, she didn't want to talk about that and things like that, that it was said that, yes, she did to try to get away from him. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's allegedly, like he said, but it's crazy to see her mom sit here and say, well, she should have. Like, any mom would have been like, no, I don't think that's the right way. Mama saying she should have. So I'm kind of like, well, what's really going on?
I feel the same way Rosie did. Well, what she should have done is just went ahead and kept going.
Mm-hmm.
If her and Cameron wanted to be together, she should have just went going. I would rather her be with anybody than to be in that garbage. That's just a lie
They
and
know
garbage
something's
that
wrong
they
with
tried
him.
that he tried to put a stain on Mama's legacy and her name, that Mama told him to do that with Mary Martha, and it's a blatant, flat out lie.
That's right.
It's nowhere near the truth. It's not. It's a horrible lie.
Wow.
Horrible lie. And as far as Cameron is concerned, that may be something for another program. But let me just say this: I met Cameron one time.
Okay.
But I actually have met him in other circumstances and in another scenario, and I can't really say anything about it at this point. But there are things. Cameron, from what I understand, was a very successful, honest, and great young man.
I remember.
And there's nothing really to say as far as details because I never will affirm something that I wasn't personally involved in. Right. However, I do have family members that do know Cameron personally and connected to him that I can't say anything about other than it turned into quite a mess.
Okay.
So, and yes, I can say this. And from what I heard from my family members, yes, he was connected to Mary Martha in more ways than just a member.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. You didn't have to tell all of that. What you said was enough. That was enough.
At minimum.
Okay, that's a very cryptic way of saying that.
All right, let's fast forward a bit.
Mama would have talked to me. That is my daughter.
She wouldn't have just kicked her out of the church without talking to you.
Let me say again, if I may interject. If Mama was going to, first of all, for Mama to disfellowship anybody, I only, in my lifetime, man and boy, I knew Mama only disfellowshipping 2 people in our church.
Now she is saying, they're saying about Mary's sister that allegedly that their grandmother wanted her, Mary's grandmother wanted her out of the church. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. We don't know until she comes speak out, which is in January.
And she pulled the whole church together and had a saints meeting and a members meeting to do that.
Yes.
So I don't know where Daddy got that.
I
think that may be a personal thing with him, because if Mama was going to disfellowship Mary, she would call 2 people, her mother and her husband.
Right.
Dana,
and she was married to Dana, and she was
married to Dana at the time, and I had never heard nothing about that.
So we don't believe that Mary was ever excommunicated by Mama.
I don't believe.
I don't believe it.
Mary wasn't like that.
No.
Now, kind of getting into it, there have also been rumors that at one point Mary and Robert Crosby were living in New York in this beautiful apartment that cost $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Plus, they have all these properties.
The grandchildren.
That this is what relatives are coming out and saying.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They so jealous.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Do you think that?
I don't
know.
So
So the mama has confirmed that the family is jealous of the things that Mary has and get through her marriage and through the church and stuff. So they are jealous. That's the mother just confirmed it.
I don't believe it though.
My question is,
Mary.
Everyone.
She might been with him.
Right. Well, everyone wants to know. Maybe it's because they don't understand the business aspect of owning a church. But
she don't need to be over no church. She don't know nothing about
that. Let's take the words out of my mouth on that one too. Let's put it like this. So you do know that with Mama being the chairman of the board of the mortgage company,
right,
and Robert Crosby and probably Mary as well having some type of ownership in the mortgage company, not all of their streams of income were coming from the church.
He put it on Mary because he know he's not supposed
to. Mary, they had other problems.
Multiple businesses.
They probably had multiple businesses and other streams of income. So it wouldn't be just the church. But I feel the same way Rosie does. Mary's not really qualified to be running the church.
Why?
Mary was a little girl when they got married and a little spoiled brat, basically. And
hold on now.
Put her together to keep control.
He put it on.
That was not ever about Mary.
Okay.
No.
That was about
That's
Bob
him. They need
Robert
to look
Cosby.
at him.
That was about Bob Robert Cosby and Annie Lois Johnson keeping the integrity of the money of the church, the mortgage company, and everything going the way they wanted it to go, and nobody being able to disturb it.
Okay.
Just that simple.
So when Mary has to defend herself in her church, and she's like, "This is my church. You know, I was the chosen one. I was the one that Mama left everything behind to."
I know he told her.
You
that.
think, to sum it up, you think that pretty much she is a victim to her husband.
That's exactly right.
She's a victim to her husband.
He lied and he
Yeah,
lied.
because the judge felt it. And those people cut up. They think that the inheritance belonged to them. Judge Dever said, "I feel that the people in here, they think they're over or in heirs." Okay. Now help me out, y'all.
Mhm. Yeah. The heirs are
Heirs, and he said the only heirs in this courtroom is Pamela, my sister, the oldest, Rosalind, I'm the second oldest, Ernie, my brother, and Debbie, my baby sister.
That's right.
So to sum it up, basically, Mary wasn't even included in the inheritance.
No,
What happened was
she's a grandchild.
she's a grandchild,
My
and she
child.
married into it.
That's right.
So it wasn't like her name was not on the list to receive a church,
She
to
didn't even
receive.
show up to any court proceeding, not one.
Okay.
So the probate proceedings, the criminal proceedings, the fraud proceedings,
She was with
he kept
him.
her away from that and hidden the whole time to manipulate and he just kept giving her money. It was never about her, ever.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And now I did want to kind of clear something up too, because I obviously don't want to name any names and mention.
That is a cult that they don't let her talk to me.
Yeah.
There are a lot of.
I'm talking about him.
Right.
He doesn't.
Well, there are a lot of points that people make when they call it a cult. They come out with like a list of reasons why they call it a cult, and it seems like you have a list of your own.
Oh yeah.
You know, a cult is like Charles Manson and what's that man's name?
A whole bunch of them.
Huh?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. That's a cult.
Yeah.
And
my mother's never been a cult.
When you think about Charles Manson, you think scary. And
yeah, it's scary. It's witchcraft.
Right. Well, Mary was, on the show, her cast members, Cameron, who was a part of the congregation, they've come forward saying Cameron as well, saying that Mary is scary. You don't want to cross Mary and Robert, because if you do, bad things can happen.
You don't want to cross Robert.
No, Robert's the one who Mary's 5 foot tall.
She don't like him.
And 110 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
She don't carry Mary's not scary at all. She's a lot of mouth.
Beautiful.
That's all
child.
She's a cute little girl with a lot of mouth. Robert is scary to some people because he's taller and he's about this big around.
He looks hard.
He looks scary, but he doesn't scare me because I'd meet him any day, any place, under any condition, anywhere, for any reason. Any reason. And when I got done with him, we'd see how good he does hiding behind women and children. He hides behind women and children.
He is mad at Mary's husband. He is pissed, y'all. That man is pissed off at him. He is upset. He don't care what nobody say. He's standing on what he said. He is upset, honey. He is saying, listen, he is mad about him and his actions of sitting here running off with his stepdaughter. He is upset about that. He is dissing him.
He never confronts grown men. And I'm half his size. Anytime, any place, anywhere, under any condition. Let's have a conversation. I'm not talking about fighting. Of course, if it comes off like talking about fighting, because I don't think he's any match for me fighting.
Oh, Lord. We're going to ask for it.
And it had the nerve to be my brother-in-law, Ernest Wall.
All right, y'all. We're going to go back. We're going to watch a little bit of Sherelle's on, because if you guys want to go see that, you can watch Up and Adam. We're going to listen to Sherelle. Up and Adam did another one. Oh, they've been on this. Child. The call is coming from inside the homes. All right, let's go to it. Shout out to Sherelle. Y'all can go follow her. I'm gonna skip through a little because it is an hour long. So
obtain at the end of this video is helping someone
Right.
find the strength and realize who Mary really is. This is crazy. So a lot of people just assume that Mary has a lot of money and a lot of businesses. And we're going to break that down today. The cult, how do they make their money?
Well, through the members, because Mary has established that she has all these businesses when in actuality she doesn't. So
She doesn't.
No.
Okay. How many businesses does she have?
Well, she has beautifully done events, which brings in probably zero revenue because it's not an even operation.
now this is the cousin of Mary, and a lot of people. I think he is on the documentary as well. I'm not sure if Mary mom is because I didn't see the trailer with the mom and the stepdad, but Dan is her cousin. So
okay.
If you want to call it the businesses, is the TLC daycare.
Okay.
That's under the umbrella of the church. And they have King's Copies, which she claims she did billboards and whatnot, and they haven't done a billboard in its whole entirety. If they had that,
do you think those businesses, the daycare and King's Copies, brings in millions?
No.
Okay, so then their number one source of revenue would be the church, right?
It's the majority. That's 95% of the money.
So they're running this cult basically to make money. Would you say that?
Yes.
How do they be specific on how they get money from the church?
To be specific, number one, tithes. Number two, pledges. And I'll break that down. Number three, they make phone calls to members when they need it. They ask the members on the 9th and on the 30th that they need money. They have during the summer and throughout the year, they have barbecues that they use under the name of the TLC Latchkey program. They have established actually a contract with the University of Utah to do their, what do you call it? Before the games, tailgating.
Okay.
And they'll cook there. And they'll bring during the summer months every Saturday. They'll use different members to and bringing them from Indianapolis, Lavanya as one of them, and as cooks. And they'll just cook all summer and generate income that way.
So, is it a fair statement to say without this church, they wouldn't sustain the lifestyle that they live?
They would not sustain it, and that's facts.
Is it it's impossible?
now to me, that's just anybody. If you have a church, can we be honest? That's just being honest to me. But I am going to fast forward through. So you heard what he said. They probably still have people in Indianapolis that they still deal with through the church, through her grandmother. So we just gonna fast forward to some key points real quick.
Mary went to Cameron's house. The reason why I know that, she went with my brother and his son. And they got the house all cleaned up. And they start playing music when they got there. And Mary asked my brother to go. She said, "I feel a sleepy spirit with you, Joe. So you need to go." And then his son also left. During that time, Mary, they were talking, and she went and sat on his lap. I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself.
No, keep going. I know.
She went and sat on his lap. And I said, "Well, Cameron, what'd you do?" And he said, "She took my hand and put it in her vagina."
Wait, what?
And I said, "Well, what'd you do after that?" I could say that.
She's alleged.
I wanted to be specific because I didn't want anything to be misled. I wanted facts. So I actually said, "Did you blank her?" He said, "Of course. What do you think? I'm a man." And I said, "Now, Cameron, you know better than that. Why would you do that?"
Exactly.
She said, "You're effing God."
Okay, so that Ernie also said that there's rumors that Mary was having an affair with Cameron. I'm going to put his picture up that you sent me.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't kiss my pastor like this.
That's why I wanted the world to see that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
No, I've never put my tongue in anyone's ear, on anyone's cheek. That is an intimate gesture to me.
Right.
But everyone knew that these two were having an affair, right?
Well, that's where the issue comes. No, everybody didn't know. People in the church had suspicion.
Okay.
Robert called a meeting and wanted the members to see who has a problem with Mary and Cameron. And of course, the members are like, they're not going to raise their hand. Some questioned and said yes. And when the ones that said yes got ridiculed, they got talked about and said, how dare you think of it that way? And they said, Cameron loves Mary the right way, in which you all should be doing the same thing. But lo and behold, during this time, there was a 3-year relationship between the two of them. During this relationship, they went to Dubai, New York, and many other places that I know for a fact because I have pictures. And not only do I have pictures, Cameron later told me, and the reason why he told me was he didn't want his story to be messed up because Mary was threatening him to go on Bravo to change the narrative because he's a prominent figure in Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow.
So she was putting some stuff over his head that she was going to threaten him with. He actually sent 3 individuals over to his house. And he said, Danny, I can take care of my own, but I want you to know if anything happens to me. This is the story. I have a 2-hour conversation with him with all the details of Bishop and Mary and what they were doing.
Okay, this is overwhelming. Got to give me a minute. This is a lot. So did the bishop have any idea that these two were having an affair? And the bishop, you guys, that's what we call Robert Sr. They call him the bishop. Did the bishop know that these two were having an affair?
So this is how it happened. So now they're sleeping together. Cameron wanted to be around God, I think, and Cameron was searching for God. They took advantage of Cameron, and that's what they do. They take advantage of souls or people in the church or whatnot. Cameron really didn't know any better or whatnot. So when Cameron started feeling in his heart, hey, we got to confess this, Mary. I'm sleeping with he's the bishop of our church. Yeah. We need to confess this. Mary didn't want him to. Okay. He said, no, we have to. Cameron actually ended up calling his mom, and his mom said, get away from that crazy woman. Eventually, they went and confessed. Bishop said,
confessed to who?
Bishop. They went and talked to Bishop, said, hey, I'm sleeping with your wife.
Oh my gosh.
And I love her. Bishop said, you keep doing that. Nobody can love her, quote, like you do. So this relationship continued. Cameron told me he would go sneak in the house while the maids were there, while different members were there. My brother was actually in the kitchen getting some water one day at 2 a.m. And he said he walked out of the room at 2 a.m, said, what's up, Joe? And walked back into Mary's room.
Oh my gosh.
What?
There was things that Cameron knew about the house up on Oak Hill or on Oak Drive in Salt Lake City that only, if you were there in the room, that nobody would know. The maids would come in and he would hide behind the balcony. He would hide in the closet. One time, Bishop, there's a funny one. He got on the intercom and said, you guys are being too loud.
What?
Okay, I can't. Oh my gosh. Damn.
No, you
can't make this up.
You cannot make that's again. I thank you for coming. You can't make this up. This is crazy. And if I would have told this story, people would say, Sherelle's lying. This is insane. If she's having an affair, and the rumor is she had multiple, because I talked to other people, then let's talk about his shenanigans. Was he known to have affairs?
Who, Robert?
Yes.
Robert wasn't known.
If that's the case, then obviously, allegedly, right? Obviously, they too loud. You say what? This is crazy.
Known to have any affairs. What happened a long time ago when Mama passed away, after he pried on Mary, and I say pried on Mary because they weren't supposed to get married, he initially started prying on my wife at the time.
What?
Having her fly to Indiana,
Oh,
fly
wow.
all over the country with Mary, of course, but then started accusing her of she has her love in the wrong way. He also started prying on other different women. I say that because that was someone, close to me. Let me break that down a little bit more. So I'm saying, and I didn't know this at the time, what was going on, because they used I'm counseling. Don't you want your wife to be counseled with? Don't you want God to work on her? This would go on for years. This is that mental. And so people are like, yes, I want to serve God. Why am I here? You're my pastor of my church. I don't love you like that, but you're the pastor of my church. But they play these mind games.
Yeah, that's it.
Fast forward, we're having all kind of marital problems, to where one day Bishop called her on the phone, and I just happened to be there. Wasn't supposed to be there.
So you had no idea?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, this is terrible.
And I was listening to the conversation because it was on intercom. And the stuff that he was saying shocked me. And I'm like, how dare that blank, blank, blank.
Yeah.
It took everything in me at that point not to confront him, but I just thought at that point, it's best that I get away. I have text messages, heard the conversation along, this conversation that went on, multiple text messages that I screenshotted from her phone. That was him. That's why he can never deny anything that he said. What Mary and Bishop would do is then turn it and say that she had the problem or different members have the problem and it's not them. They turn it and to make you feel guilty. I had said something before that they'll actually, and they did it to me like, I know what I'm drinking some water right now, but they'll make you think that you're really not drinking water. Mm-hmm. That's how the mind game works. Mm-hmm. And so where you start questioning, well, maybe I am off. And that's how they get people. So you need to be strong-minded, strong-willed, and be able to say, no, you're not right. And that's what a lot of people don't do. So when I started asking questions, going previous to that, I started asking questions, and I think I became a threat because stuff that they were doing, I didn't see that was right. Mm-hmm. So with that, now we talk about, that's my personal experience. There was other members, women, young members, young women that he pried on as well, sending them messages, sending them, trying to take them to Vegas, trying to take them to Florida. And even one time he said, I'll fly both of you down, these two particular women. So I'm thinking to myself, what does he want, a threesome?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Can you?
Then, hold on, I want to lose my thought.
Okay, you're getting there. Okay, good.
Another lady that he brought over, he was counseling with her daughter, different ones, prying on them. There's another lady that he actually gave some drink to. She drank, probably put something in the drink, and he went down on
That's
her.
strong allegation now. This is alleged, y'all.
This is classic cult behavior. He reminds me of a Warren Jess, huh?
No, I was just going to say, we have a Bill Cosby Me Too movement all over again if those women stand up.
Those women need to stand up, but would you say they're brainwashed? Explain how these people are giving them their money, giving him their bodies? Explain what will make a person do this.
Because they throw the God concept of God is manifested. See, here's the thing. This is where people have a misconception. They don't go around and say, I am God. She uses subliminal messages like she did on some of those YouTube or on the channels on YouTube where she says, you know, God's here.
Yep.
And they talk in that kind of form or fashion. And then they just put this fear over them. And some of them have grown up in the church and that's all that they know. You have to remember it originated, not the belief system, but they grew up in Mama's church. So they're thinking, Mama left us. And they know, everybody knows Mama was a holy woman. Everybody knows. Yes, they think, oh, people gave.
Now, one thing I've seen people say, they say great things about her grandmother. Even her daughter said great things about the grandmother. But it seems like they're not saying great things about the husband. And it's very off, like, it's not about the husband. It's mostly about the great things about the grandmother. Her grandmother was great. Her grandmother was a great woman. Her grandmother did this. I'm not hearing one bad thing about this woman at all. One bad thing. Not one. So it's given to me that this documentary of what I think is going on is to pay attention to what's really going on. That's what it's giving. I think that's what it's handling out here. We're going to continue to play this. I'm going to fast forward through. But basically, he's saying that, you know, Mary's grandmother was a wonderful woman. The only person that just wasn't great was Mary's stepfather. Well, step-grandfather, a.k.a. her husband. So let's continue.
Ties to Mama. Yes, that's what they were supposed to do. But Mama always took care of the church. That was the thing.
And let's make that clear, Dan. Your mom, your grandmother did not run a cult.
No, she didn't.
No, she did not. I'm hearing a lot of that's what everybody's saying.
People can say all they want, but Mama helped the needy, any member that came to church. That's why people loved her. And that's where Mary gets this terminology, I'm blessed. Because Mama would say that she's blessed. She didn't take people's money like that. During the 70s, when they built the church, when they were establishing this whole movement of the Pentecostal movement, her church, her two churches, people were, yes, they were giving pledges. Yes, trying to build a church, build another church, because she wanted the best for her members. She didn't want her members to rent or to have to catch the bus. You know, she wanted them to be able to go to get educated. Mm-hmm. So people love that about her. Then Mary came on and tried and just twisted that and said, you know, I'm like Mama, and you know, and I sent you some.
Yeah. You did. You sent me a lot of messages that I will put up later because they were long. You sent me the original message from 2020 when you discovered that Mary was having an affair with Robert. And she cussed you out bad. She called you the N-word.
Yes.
You also sent me, and she tried to deny it and said it was God's will. And it was, and you were standing up to her and she was getting madder and madder.
Right.
And then ultimately kicked you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they never kicked me out.
Okay.
I've been gone.
Okay.
She just basically threatened me, said, don't ever come to her church again. But I ain't been there in years anyway.
Oh, okay, you did. She said she would call 911 if you came to the church.
Right.
There was another text message that you sent me, and you sent me these texts.
Now, remind you, this what the mother had said, that they would threaten her and the stepfather and Mary's stepfather, that if they came to the church, that they were calling the police.
Text messages to show how scared the people are of her and how there's a whole nother side to her. Now, on the TV show, she made comments about Black people. If she's seen a Black person in front of 7-Eleven, she would drive past it.
Yeah, she did.
Mexicans and their cults, cartels, pardon me. And then the slanted eyes of Asians. In the text messages that you sent me, She was calling white people, and I feel bad saying this but it's true. White trash, and that they're bad mothers. Who was she talking to this way?
Well, the people gave me the authority to say it, but she was talking about Keely. She was talking about a lady named Susie. She was talking to a lady about Linda, Kim, and the list goes on.
Wow.
I said that to
Talk
you
about the
because these ladies on the
congregation.
Bravo show are scared of her.
They are.
And here's the reasons why. This is a behavior that is Mary.
So basically, they're saying that what that you see on TV, that is who Mary is, and he's saying that, well, she was talking about, and this is when the mom was saying people are jealous, that she was talking about some of the congregation members, and one of the names do sound familiar that he just talked about.
This is who she is. And if you want to know, in her messages, they all say the same thing. She's illiterate, number one. She never graduated from high school.
That's a shocker. And I don't mean to cut you off.
You
could tell in the messages. It was just, the grammar was terrible. Besides,
They put that fear. God's going to get you. Just like you said, she put it in me. She said, God left me a long time ago. And I'm like, who talks like that? So whether she calls herself a pastor now, that's only by name because Bishop gave her that authority. Because Bishop, up until we've heard about 2 months ago, he called around to all their members and said, I don't call me about any more confessions. Don't call me about anything else related to the church. If you have a problem, see Mary. But that doesn't surprise anybody because he's been out of the picture, except when he gets on that show.
So really, in all honesty, the cult, the church, is just the money grab.
Right.
They use it for money, and these people hang on to every word because, like in every other cult, it starts in here. They've brainwashed them in so many words, right?
Yes.
It's so bad. We see little Robert on the show. He doesn't seem to want to talk to his mom. You can't grow up in this kind of confusion. How would you say this has affected him?
You know what? The family, the people who at least I've talked to, they feel bad and they think it's a disgrace because he has no reality. He has no truth to him. Of course he loves his mom. Of course he loves his dad. But he's seen this corruption and he's grown up around this corruption and he's down the wrong path. My grandmother would be sick if she had saw and heard of what's been going on with her church and little Robert, for that matter, for anybody's son, for that matter.
Oh, you were telling me about little Robert earlier. You said it led him down a road of what?
He's been selling drugs, which is known. I had someone reach out to me for whatever reason. Everybody reaches out to me. They had went to, I think one of the judges had given them a order to go see. So there was a place in California, a rehab place. And Mary said, no, he doesn't need to do that. We'll let God do it. I know he's been ordered to either go to the military or he'll go to jail.
Oh, I've heard of those sentences before. Either you. So
he's just, not to put all his business. I mean, he's just now turning 18, and this is what his life has to look forward to. He has no support. And Mary's putting him on that show like he's just a little guinea pig. Come and do this, do this. I saw something today. Speak louder, pray louder. That's how she is. Like, he doesn't want to do. That's not even his personality.
Listen, at the end of the day, these are still your family members, and you grew up around this. How did you save yourself?
I just walked away. With my own mind, I guess that's the most important thing, without any fear. I will say this. When you're embedded, when you grow up in church and you fear God, you don't want to, there's a scripture, if you look at scriptures, the scripture says, touch not my anointing, and different things like that. So that will go back. Okay, am I off? Am I off? You come to ask those questions. And I say that with any example, and I think this is where people think, am I off? Am I thinking wrong? because they'll make you think that you're off. Your love is in the wrong place.
Most.
And so they fall into that and like, okay, and then be submissive. And they don't want to leave the church because they don't think they have anywhere else to go.
Right. I've talked to many people, 6, that this Mary's church has ruined their lives. They're full of fear. They've cried in front of me. If you were to give those people any advice, what would you say?
Well, all things come to the light, and at least they know. Because I feel God talks to us all or talks to us in any kind of way. To me, if I know it's God, you feel something. I feel a warmth. I think that was God. You know, I mean, how do we know? But I think some kind of way God tells us that, and He tried, and He'll comfort us in some way. And maybe the things that we were having, the thoughts that we were having back then, I think maybe He was telling us. And you know, all things work together for the good is the only thing I can say. You know, but you're right. They've destroyed my family, for that matter. They've destroyed all kind of families, financially, mentally, physically, and suck people dry of their retirements, of their house, their mortgage. I had an uncle that passed, Mama's brother. Okay, his name was Russell. He passed. He doesn't have a headstone to this day. Mama was always about funerals, taking care of the church, loved ones passing. She took care of that. How's her own brother not have a headstone? You know what? They made it seem like he was off because he didn't adhere to Bishop and Mary.
You told me a story right before we came on air about the pressure that they put on people and the guy in the retirement home. Can you share that story again?
Yes. So there's a gentleman named Don. He's in a retirement. He's been sickly, you know, and his sister is named Susie, and she has power of attorney over him. They have another sister named Pat, who's in her late 80s, maybe she's old as my mom, late 70s. She's still with Bishop and Mary. Well, they'll call Don with his feeble mind and get money from him. And they've gotten money over him for the last 20 years. And in this text message, can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
It says, Danny, Don says usually about $25,000 to $30,000 he would give them a year, sometimes much more than that. She needs to check the taxes. The way Bishop and Mary tried to get power of attorney over Don was by sending Pat to them, because Pat is very close to Don, or was, and told him to get guardianship dropped through the other sister, through a lawyer. So they tried to work on him mentally, saying that they were off because they didn't follow Bishop and Mary. Again, there were very large amounts of money out of him. They would send Pat to get it. So they actually would have him get the money. Pat would come and get it from him. And put it in his mind that this is what God wanted them to do. That's one individual. So you take $30,000 a year for at least the last 20 years. That's $600,000 for one member. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Scamming. They're scammers, con artists. And most cult leaders are con artists.
Right.
I introduced you to one of my panelists. I'm going to bring up Diva. Hold on. Oh, unbelievable, right?
I'm sitting here in shock. And what I don't understand is, if they haven't had church in so long, why are the people still so dedicated to them? Usually people fall under the trap because every week they're still hearing the word from the pulpit and they're still being mind controlled. But if they're not having any services, I'm wondering why these people are still feel so connected to them and want to give up their money. I don't understand it. And then also, I don't know, what did they teach out of? Did they teach out of the Bible? Because in the Bible, there's clear scriptures that say 10% is your tithes. So why were they feeling so comfortable to go above and beyond 10%. Usually they say 10% is your tithing, and then you give some offering. But offering is whatever you have, whatever you want to give. Okay. Offering is not, I'm going to mortgage my house and give you everything I have and be homeless. Right. So I'm wondering, how the people just, I do understand church, because I go to church, right? And they do say a lot. It's like you could never speak against the man of God or the woman of God, whoever's in the pulpit.
Okay, so
in
they
97, when Mama passed away,
come up.
Bishops supposedly need comforted. Mary was disfellowshipped from the church and left the church because Mama kicked her out. Bishop went and found Mary, bought her a 3 Series BMW. Mary had the nerve to say, "Is this all I get?" They began traveling together, going on, doing different things, comforting each other. A year later, they get married. So before they got married, they would ask the different members, "Is God talking to you?"
Now, anybody watching, this is not to come at Mary. This was never to come at Mary. Like I said, this is just an insight of what going to entail with this documentary. This is why she feels like it's disgusting. Now, I'm just saying it does look suspicious, but this is not to come at her. This is not to do any of that. This is just what y'all should expect to see of what they're going to talk about. And it might be a little more than this.
Telling you something. And there was a lot of members, majority of the members, because they had fear, said, "Oh yeah, God's telling me you guys should get married." But they would impose that. They would throw that out there. And I said, quote, "No, God ain't talking to me about anything." "You sure, brother?" "No." I said, "I think that's kind of weird. You're my granddad. I've been knowing you since I was a kid as my granddad. That's weird to me. I know there's no blood, and it just doesn't look right." He told the story on him and Mary on the show that they were supposed to. And I know that's been cleared up now. And even I said, Mama felt bad that she took his youth away. Not that she wanted him to go marry one of her daughters. She said she wished instead of her, because she was older and didn't give him any kids. That was that whole story. They weren't supposed to get married. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you, Diva. I'm going to drop you down. Thank you, Mims, for coming up. I really appreciate it. Last question. You feel, we discussed this earlier, that you feel like Mary is laying the foundation for a divorce?
Yes, I sent a letter, a text message to my mother last year, and I said they're going to be getting divorced. And eventually, the reason why I knew that is because of what Cameron had told me in what was going on and what Mary was doing. So when Mary and Bishop was doing their stuff, and I think this, if this is not where you're going, let me know. They had a saints meeting, and they were going to, that's when they started asking, does anybody feel anything with Cameron and Mary? Well, they were going to put Cameron and Mary together at that time.
Where I was going.
To put them, Cameron and Mary, over the church. Cameron's mom told Cameron to run, get away from all that. Go ahead, I'll let you.
And unfortunately, Cameron has since passed.
Right? Yes. Cameron was a football player. He had a tumor. He had a history of tumors. And he was getting back to God. And I think he had contacted a church or whatnot and was really praying, got in touch with his family and just found his inner man again and, trying to make things right. And he was praising God. He was on a Zoom call with, and he told me this, he was on a Zoom call with another church called Soul Restoration. And he was testifying, and he got out of surgery and he felt so good. His soul was happy. And he was just illuminated. And you could tell God touched him. And he had to go in for another, he had a setback, and he had to go back in for another surgery, and he ended up passing.
That's too bad. Listen, Dan, you have been amazing. I want to thank you for this. We before we even did the video, we talked about our intentions of doing this, because there are people out there that are trapped.
Yes.
And if the information's there, that's all we can do is give them the information, and then hopefully they'll find the strength. Go ahead.
One more thing, Cheryl. You had mentioned, I want to just make the record straight. Mary does not own a bank.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
She had claimed that she owns a bank. She claims she owns United Security. That United Security is Lois's. Lois has been, before the church, she's been in mortgage banking. When the church had any issues going on, Lois helped get the church out of a situation. She failed to do that because she thought she was, doing God's work. That's where that all came from. And Lois helped them get land, those houses and whatnot, establish them that way. As I told you the other day, she actually bought them a house in Vegas.
She was the business savvy person. She also was your grandmother's friend, right?
Yes, they were very close. And my mom was very close. My mom doesn't talk to Lois to this day. My mom doesn't talk to me this day. But Lois was the savvy behind it. Mama would give her ideas and Lois would act on it. And of course, that's how, if you want to say empire, wasn't an empire. It was, they bought some properties by moving up like anybody else would. Move up, sell a house, move up, sell a house.
Yeah.
They got that house in Vegas for 1.79. She bought it, paid cash for it, gave it to Mary. Mary, since last year, she refinanced and got that 1.7 million.
Like, how much money does she need? I mean, this is a lot of money here. Like, when is enough?
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But she needs the show. She needs the show to survive.
Now they need money. So she's going to stay on that show, which is a blessing to the victims because it's coming out.
Right.
If she would have never went on that show, do you think everything would have started coming out?
I don't know how, because I hate to say that I'm the one that pushed the button, but when she told the lies, when she started with the lies, because remember, I was out of the picture, but she started lying on my grandmother, and I took offense to that. And when I took offense to that, then people started talking, because I didn't know the Lindas of the world, the different members that were in the church that was given all their money. There's Linda. She gave over $1 million to Robert and Mary. And these people were victims, and they wouldn't have known, like you said, they wouldn't have known the truth. And so when Mary lied, that's how the truth started coming out.
Well, here's my final words to you, besides thanking you beyond belief. They're going to run a reunion. So I'm being told that Mary's going to get questioned heavily in this reunion, that Mary's going to be in the hot seat. Will you come back after the reunion?
Sure, anytime.
Really, Dan?
Anytime. I have all the receipts.
Yeah. Can you come back with your receipt?
All right, you guys. That is the end of that. Listen, Mary didn't go on the show, on the reunion because of that. She knew it was going to be questioned from what we understood. But I just wanted to show, I'm still going to be on top of this. There's still more, I believe. And we're going to talk more about it because, like I say, the docuseries come out January 1st. I will be reviewing it. I will have my notes together. I will be looking at TLC. We'll be talking about it. I'm going to go ahead and end this live. I will be back in a couple of hours. I want to thank you guys for coming in that watched, and some of you guys that will watch the replay. Let me know your comments in the comment section. We were supposed to talk about the sun. Well, I don't think I'll do that. I'll wait till tomorrow for that. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll go into Mary's son tomorrow and see what other stuff we can go and look up, because it's a lot for to be out. Later.
It's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
birds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken